So my question related to today's subject. One of the main purpose of man creation is to be ruled according to theocratic law, the Islamic law. If that is the main purpose, and why we among Muslims have this kind of phobia when we talk about Islamic State. And there is a question also.
Don't get a question also. Get you one question, right?
Okay. Is it possible to create Islamic State in the multiracial society? And I want to ask second question.
No, just that one question. Okay. The point is that it is the desire, or should be the desire, of Muslims that their lives be governed by divine law. And Muslims will not be able to practice Islam in its entirety unless their societies, wherever they are governed by Islamic law. Now, Islamic law doesn't mean that those people who are non-Muslims then become oppressed, because Islamic law has many provisions to look after the rights of non-Muslims within an Islamic state. What Islamic law does is it provides security, it provides economic proper distribution of wealth in the society, and it protects the interests of all the members of the society, whether male or female, child or adult. So it is just a sign of our times, because of the fact that we have strayed far away from the Quran and the Sunnah, that to us now the idea of governance by Islam becomes strange. We might fear it or whatever. But in reality, this is something we should embrace and we all should pray for. Okay. Question: I'm a non-Muslim. I was born to a non-Muslim parents. I'm not aware of Islam as a true religion of God. I'm confused over the bunches of religions. I just followed my parents' religion, a non-Muslim faith. Is it my mistake? Am I responsible for ignorance? Will I be hell-driven? How can I convince myself to follow the religion of Islam? Please guide me. Thank you. Well, as long as we have a mind to be able to reason and to decide for ourselves, then we have the responsibility of seeking what in fact is the correct religion. We need to look at what we are born in, look at what others are calling to, and judge them after understanding the principles. It shouldn't be an emotional thing where our emotions blind us to the realities, but should be one based on reason, because God has given us the ability to reason for a purpose. Not that we should just live like animals, only reacting to the circumstances of our environment and being locked into a particular system or mode, etc., simply because that is the circumstance we were born in. So I would say that the person who was born in a non-Muslim situation, they're not blamed for it. They're not held accountable for it. They're not going to go to hell because of it. As I explained before, especially if a person dies in that state, there is provision for them to make the choice, an educated and correct choice. If a person has reached adulthood, and they've come across, within themselves they know to some degree good and evil. Everybody is aware of it. So if they are constantly trying to seek a good path, then the doors will open in front of them to the right path. And I would just say that in terms of convincing oneself, just look at the evidence. All the different religions claiming that theirs is the right way, then look at the evidence. What evidence does each religion have to support that claim? And whatever you are convinced after you've seen the evidence, then you choose it and you follow it. why did God make this world to speak Arabic? Didn't God make the world to speak Arabic? Only instead we've got so many languages. Well, it is part of the test of this life. Human beings were given many different languages. However, these languages were not meant to divide us so that we would look at each other as enemies, etc., but only to recognize the greatness of God within us, how God has created us with these different languages, with these different abilities. When we make things, we tend to make things, we put it on a production line, everything turns out the same, repetitive. To put a production line where every single one that comes off the line is different, we can't do this. That is the greatness of God. That He can create us, in spite of what similarities are, looks and factors about, we speak different languages, we look in different ways, all of this variety, right down to our fingerprints. Every single one different. This is the greatness of Allah. And the message which Allah, God has sent to us, it's one which can reach us regardless of the languages that we speak. This is not a hindrance. We have ways and means of finding the truth. In our times, those of the past, individual messengers were sent to the people where that message could not spread over large areas. However, when Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, was sent as the last of the messengers, he came at a time when that message could be spread to the world. Within 25 years after his death, the message had reached Spain and had reached China. Every Friday in Penang, women carrying small children wander from shops to beg from brother Muslims. What is Islamic perspective on begging? It is forbidden in Islam. Begging is a sin unless the person has just cause. Truly they're in a calamity, and there should be somebody or some members of the community who witness for that person that this is in truth a person in need. And then we should help such people. But just begging, because some people have made it a way of life. It's easier to beg. I mean, people might think, what, begging? Yes. People who beg on a regular basis, they can make the same salary you make and more working in your job. So begging can be a very profitable, profession. And it is evil, actually. Prophet ﷺ forbade it. He said those who beg without just cause would come before God with any skin on their face. They would be the skulls coming before God in an evil state. So begging is forbidden in Islam, and we should advise those who are doing so incorrectly not to do so. What is Nur Muhammad? And was La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah inscribed in heaven even before Adam was created? Now this thing of Nur Muhammad, this is again one of the mistaken beliefs held by a number of ignorant Muslims, that the first thing that Allah created was the light of Muhammad, and it was created from Allah's light. And from this light the rest of things were created. This is fabrication. There is no authentic hadith from the Prophet ﷺ to that effect. It is a lie. There is no such thing as Nur Muhammad. Or in Arabic they call it An-Nur al-Muhammadi. No, this is falsehood. As to the story about La ilaha illallah being written in the heavens, and Adam saw it and it appeared on his thumbs, and this is why people after some prayers you see them kissing their thumbs and wiping it on their eyes. This again is fabricated traditions. We don't have this in any authentic tradition. Of it being written in the heavens, nothing to that effect. What we have is that the first thing that Allah created is the authentic hadith, is a pen. And Allah asked that pen to write. And it asked Allah what should it write, and Allah told it to write everything that was and would be. And the Prophet ﷺ said that